this is the post-game handshake. Dawn deflecting questions about the interaction with Gino. She said repeatedly, those are questions for Gino. So, Monica, when you're watching this, what's going through your mind?
What are they saying? What's that about? Now, mind you, this exchange happened, and the officials ruled that there was, I believe, 0.2 left on the clock after this happened. For all that these coaches represent in terms of being legends in the game of women's basketball, that is out of character, right? And as things have evolved post-game, Gino is out of character and, in my mind, in the wrong.
No one expected it to spiral this far. Not after the final play, not after the handshake line, and definitely not after what followed. At first, it looked like another high-stakes clash. Two powerhouse programs, two iconic coaches, Gino Wnba and Dawn Staley, both comfortable under pressure, both built for big stages. But this time, something felt different. From the opening whistle, the tone wasn't just competitive, it felt charged. Every possession carried extra weight, every whistle sounded sharper, every reaction cut deeper. The cameras picked up everything. The glances, the body language, the tension building moment by moment. This wasn't just a game anymore, it was a collision of pride. Then came the moment fans can't stop replaying. The buzzer sounded, and it should have ended there. Instead, it shifted. A look, a brief pause, a reaction that lingered just long enough to change the mood. Suddenly, the post-game exchange felt anything but routine. The focus moved beyond the scoreboard, beyond the plays, straight into the question of respect. And that's when things turned uncomfortable, because the interaction between Gino and Dawn didn't carry the usual calm, it carried weight, and everyone watching could feel it.
Turn of events. Sarah Strong's jersey is split right down the middle. I saw you speaking to the refs about it. What message did you try to convey?
Right. There were 6 fouls called that quarter, all of them against us. And they've been beating the shit out of our guys down there the entire game. And I'm not making excuses because we haven't been able to make a shot. But this is ridiculous. Their coach rants and raves on the sideline and calls the referee some names you don't want to hear. And now we get sick with a ripped jersey, and they go, I didn't see it. Come on, man. This is for the national championship.
He was mad, of course, saying they were being too physical with his team, perhaps taking them out of the game a little bit, taking them out of their rhythm. And to be quite frank, some of the players on UConn did not look ready for the moment, looked a little afraid out there, specifically AZ Fudd. Who just did not rise to the occasion after, to be fair, she was the most outstanding player of the Final Four last year, but for the presumptive number 1 pick, 3 of 15 from the floor, 2 of 9 from 3, did not look for her shot very much at all. Even Sarah Strong, who I'm a massive fan of, was not great in the second half of that game, and as you can see in the shooting numbers, did not shoot the ball well. They got outplayed and out-toughed, I suppose you would say, by South Carolina. And then you look at the numbers for South Carolina, none of their players.
The exchange felt tense, brief, almost icy, and fans caught it instantly. Clips spread everywhere. Slow motion, tight zooms, frame-by-frame breakdowns. Because people weren't just watching anymore, they were analyzing. What was that? Did you catch that? Something felt off. Within minutes, the moment took on a life of its own. But then it got even more intense. While attention stayed locked on that interaction, another name quietly entered the conversation, and once it did, the entire narrative shifted: Caitlin Clark. Somehow, her influence was still echoing even though she wasn't on the floor. What she had already done, what she had elevated, the spotlight she helped create, it all lingered. The expectations were higher, the attention sharper, the pressure heavier. Suddenly, this wasn't an isolated post-game moment anymore. It felt tied to something bigger, a growing storyline fans couldn't ignore. Every reaction seemed amplified, every expression carried more meaning, and the tension that started as a spark quickly turned into something far louder. That's when everything escalated.
Staley saying, I would never do that. I would never do that to him. As Gino Wnba walks back to the locker room alone. But South Carolina dominates Connecticut in the second half.
It looks like he's not there, and they got to calm Dawn Staley down. Again, in that moment, I have no idea what Dawn Staley could have done to precipitate that, because I'm not there. But Gino looks like the sore loser in that video. Dawn looks like the composed one in that video. That does not reflect well on the legendary UConn coach. Now, in the post game with Holly Rowe, Dawn Staley had said something. She said, "I don't know what I really did." Something about perhaps him not shaking hands, or he said something about not shaking hands pregame. But and she also cited her integrity, said things get heated sometimes. But if you look at pregame,
The conversation didn't stay with fans for long. It reached the media, analysts, former players, voices that carry real influence. One of those voices was Lisa Leslie, and when she spoke, people paid attention. She didn't just weigh in, she made it clear the moment felt off, like something needed to be addressed. Then came the turning point. She called for an apology, directly and without hesitation. Instantly, the situation ignited again. This wasn't a debate in comment sections anymore. It had become a public confrontation. When a legend steps in like that, the spotlight intensifies, and suddenly all eyes shifted back to Geno Auriemma. Now the questions weren't just about what happened, but why it looked tense, why it felt personal, why it escalated so quickly. Then came the response. Geno didn't stay silent, and the tone wasn't calm or carefully measured. It sounded emotional, frustrated, like something deeper had been touched. That's when the narrative flipped, because the focus moved beyond the moment itself to how it was handled. In sports, moments fade, but reactions define the story, and this reaction only fueled the fire. Instead of cooling down, the conversation intensified, and fans didn't back off. They leaned in, louder than before.
Ask Geno Auriemma.
So in the post-game press conference, these were the questions that were asked of Geno Auriemma about his post-game interaction with Dawn Staley.
Hey, Coach Doug Fomberg, the AP. What exactly happened in the end of the game there in the last second with the handshake line with you and Dawn?
I said what I had to say, and nothing. For 41 years, I've been coaching, and I've been, 25 Final Fours. And the protocol is, before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? Two coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. Correct? You ever see it? They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes. So it is what it is.
So what Geno Auriemma was alluding to there was a pre-game handshake, a tradition that happens between head coaches, and he said he was waiting at half court for about 3 minutes, and he was heated post-game, but this was not the only time where those emotions overflowed. Let's check out his post,
at that point, when you act like he did there, you kind of, I don't know is a strong word, but it would be nice if the public could get the explanation. Because that's on national TV. That's for everybody to see. And I know Geno doesn't lose all that often, so he might not be used to it. But, bro, you came off looking like a real sore loser, a real crybaby in front of the entire, viewing public. So if there was a reason, if you were justified, you're better off explaining it to people. In my mind. You're better off saying, she said this or did this, and I did not appreciate it. Okay, then we can go, oh, really? She did this or said this, or, and then she can be asked about that. But when you do that,
Sides formed, debates intensified, and the noise only grew louder, and through it all, one thing became obvious. This wasn't fading anytime soon. It had already grown into something bigger than a single post-game moment. A storyline, a rivalry extension, a flashpoint fans wouldn't forget. At the center of it all stood four powerful names colliding at once. Geno Auriemma, Dawn Staley, Caitlin Clark, and Lisa Leslie. Different voices, different influence, all converging into one charged moment. And the wildest part is the story still doesn't have an ending, because moments like this don't simply close. They grow, they evolve, they gather weight. Now it feels like this is only the beginning, because the next time these names surface together, the tone will be different, heavier, carrying history and tension that wasn't there before. That's what makes this so powerful. It didn't just happen, it shifted something. So the real question now isn't just what we saw, but what it exposed. Did this moment go too far, or did it simply bring to the surface what had been building all along?